All right, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining our Evolve Tips and Tricks session for today. We wanted to start this weekly series to give you simple and easy tips that anyone can go back to their desk and quickly implement. We know your time is valuable, so we strive to keep these sessions to right around 30 minutes. For those of you that are new today, my name is Maria Martinez. I'm an Evolve 365 trusted advisor with Planet Technologies. If you have any questions after the session, please feel free to send me an email or you're welcome to give me a call as well. I'm happy to answer any questions. So let's go ahead and kick things off. This week, we're going to be talking about Microsoft Teams, and we have a lot to cover today. Microsoft Teams is a built-in app for Office 365. So, what are Teams? From Microsoft, Teams are a chat based workspace within Office 365, and it includes a combination of Skype for Business, SharePoint Online, OneNote, and a lot of more features. Really, Teams is going to be kind of this one stop shop so that your teams can collaborate all in one place. And so, today we're going to take a look at all the different features that are available to you when you're working in Teams and kind of just give you an overview of what those features can do. So why do we want to use Teams? Well, we can create a collaborative workspace for your team and we can let anyone join in, or we can keep it private. One place to collaborate on projects. So here is, again, that kind of one-stop shop where you can go in and you can work on projects together. So we'll look at all the ways that we can collaborate. You can create and you can organize multiple teams. So, this is, again, a place where you can have access to all the different teams that you're working with all in one place. They're rich scheduling features. So, because of the integration with Skype for Business, you can actually have meetings through Teams, and there are a lot of different features that we can use. You can also work with documents within the application itself. So, when you open documents in the application, just something to note is that it's going to take you kind of to those online applications. So, if it's a Word document, it's going to be Word Online and things of that nature. Just like if you were to open a document in SharePoint, for instance, you have the option to work on it within the application using the online version. So the look and feel of Teams, you have your navigation to your left, you have a list of the teams that you're a part of in the middle, and you have the reading pane on the right. And this is going to seem really familiar because it's a lot like Outlook. Microsoft really does a great job of trying to create a cohesive, consistent look and feel. So when you're in Teams, it can feel very familiar, and it's a lot like other apps within Office 365 as well. You can access chat messages outside of the team as well. So you can have team conversations, which we'll look at really closely, but you can also have those kind of IM conversations that you're used to in Skype for Business within Teams as well. So you can have those individual chats as well. We're going to look at the settings, the number of settings that you have available, or the personalization that is available is limited, but you do have some options within the Teams app where you can go in and you can personalize it to work for you. So let's go ahead and jump in and look at the interface. All right, so here we are, and the first thing that I want to mention is that this is the desktop version of Teams. So you have the desktop version and you have the online version, which is available through Office 365. And one of the things that I really like about this is that the interface is the same in both places. And so what I wanted to do was just take a minute to show you that really the interface is going to look the same in Office 365. So as I mentioned, this is the desktop application, but let me go ahead and just show you the online version. So here we are in Office 365 in the landing page, and you can see that we have access to our applications and that Teams is listed here. If you don't see your Teams here, you can always click on Explore All Applications, or you can come into this kind of waffle item here and you can find Teams here as well. I have it open in another tab. And so really just what I wanted to show you is that the interface is the same as the desktop application. So you can do all the same things that you can do in the desktop version on the online version. So that makes it really easy if you're traveling, if you're working from home, things of that nature, you can access it and you don't have to worry about it looking different or having different functionality. So let's go ahead and jump back into the desktop version. All right, and so let's talk about the interface a little bit just to get you familiar with it. So here we have our search up across the top. So if you needed to search anything within the application, you can use that search feature here. And then, as I mentioned, we have this left navigation over here, kind of like Outlook, where we have our folders. Here's where we're going to have a list of our teams or activities in this case. And then here's where we have that reading pane that I was talking about. So very kind of similar to other Office 365 applications or Outlook. In this case, I am in the activity tab. And in here, you're basically going to see the activity. You can see that right here, it's set to my activity, but I can change it and I can change it to feed. And if I change it to feed, this is where you would see what's going on within your teams themselves. So you can change that and you can view your activity and you can kind of see all of the things that you've done. So that's the activity feature. Then we have the chat feature. So this is what I was talking about, those individual chats. This is where you would have those Skype for Business or IM chats that you're accustomed to. And it's very similar, very easy to use. You can see that you kind of get a list of suggested. So you're going to see the people that you talk to the most there. And then here you can actually type the name of someone to find them. And it's going to pull up your Active Directory and give you access to the people that are listed. And then down here is where we would start the conversation. And if I click in here, you can see that I can start typing a message. One of the cool things about the chat feature is that you can use those at mentions. So think of Twitter, for instance, where you say at and someone or an organization or something like that, and that person will be alerted that they've been mentioned in a chat. So that's something to keep in mind. You can see you have those same kind of rich features as you do with instant message. So you can format your message, you can attach documents, you have emojis, GIFs, and stickers, and then you have some options here as well. So that's the individual chat feature, right? So this is when you want to speak with one person, or maybe you want to make it a group that you want to be a part of as well. All right, so the next thing that we have is Teams, and this is really where you're going to do most of your work, right? So here you're going to see that I have a list of some teams. I'm actually going to collapse these so that you can see that I have 3 teams that are listed here that I'm a part of. And so each one of them has this little arrow here. So if I click on those arrows, it's going to expand those teams for me. And what you're going to see underneath the teams are what are referred to as channels. So these are basically kind of work streams that you can create or topic areas within your team. So let's say that your team is working on various different projects at the same time. You want to separate those projects out so that your team knows exactly where they can focus on that one particular project or where they can collaborate on that project. So that's what we use channels for. And we'll talk in detail more about channels in a little bit. You can see here that you have some capabilities within your channels as well, and we'll look at that further as well. And then when we keep going down our navigation, we have the meetings tab as well. And so you can see that you can get a snapshot of your day. You can see what meetings are coming up. You can see that in the reading panel, you can actually accept or decline invites directly from there. So this can be really helpful. You can see that this particular meeting invite, you can see what attendees are there. And you even have the option to join the meeting from here. And we'll look at the meetings feature a little bit later. And then we have the files tab. So, one of the great things about Teams, again, it's one of those things where you have access to everything in one place. So here you have access to all of the files. So you can see that I have a list of all of my recent files, but I can also click here and go to Microsoft Teams and I can see my team files, or I can go to OneDrive and I can see my OneDrive. So this is, again, just a great way that we can access everything from one place. And then this feature here shows you that you have some access to some other things as well. So you can see OneNote, Planner, Stream. So you can access these applications directly from Teams as well. If I were to click on OneNote, it would take me to my own personal OneNote notebook. And if I'm a member of some other teams, I can see those notebooks as well. So that's awesome as well. All right, and then I talked about personalization. So it is a little bit limited, but we do have some personalization options. And to access those, we would actually go to kind of our profile up here at the top. This is my demo account. So I'm going to go ahead and click on there so you can see. One of the things to note is that just like Skype for Business, we can change our availability. So you can see there that if I scroll or hover over that, you're going to see that I can change my availability. I can also access things I've saved, and then I have the options for settings as well. So if I click on settings, you can see that again, it is limited, but you do have some options. So you can see that right now I have the default theme chosen, but you can set it to dark if that's something that you prefer. And then there's that high contrast theme, which is actually good for people that have maybe some visual impairments and things of that nature. You also have some settings here for privacy, and this is basically if you're set to do not disturb and you want to set some limitations or some exceptions to do not disturb, this is where you would do it. An example is if you want your manager to be able to contact you if you're on do not disturb, but no one else, you can actually set it up so that it can do that through the privacy settings. And then we have our notifications. And this is really one of those places where you can customize by adding those notifications, and you're telling teams how you want to be notified and things of that nature. So you'll see that you have a lot of different options here in terms of your notifications. So this is definitely somewhere that I encourage you to go in and you can play around with your settings. All right, so that's a little bit of an overview of the interface. Let's jump back into our presentation so we can talk in detail about some other things. All right, so using team conversations. So we talked about there are two different things. You have the chat functionality, which is Skype for Business, where you can individually chat with people and it's not part of the team conversation. So you can send those instant messages to individuals. You can add people to those chat conversations, and it's separate from your team conversations. And we'll look at that so you'll get a good feel of what that's like. And then team conversations are going to be specific to that team, and you can even have those conversations within channels. You can reply to a conversation in progress, or you can create a whole new conversation about a different topic, but that's going to be for the team as a whole. One thing to note here, which I think is a great feature with Microsoft Teams, is that when you add new people or groups, they can quickly get up to speed on things that have already been discussed. And it doesn't matter when they've been added to the team. So you have a new team member, you add them to the team, and they can actually go in and they can see the history of the conversations that have happened. They have access to the files as well. So this is a really, really great way to get people up to speed when they are coming on board new. And then we have channels. So channels within a team should be thought of as topic or work streams to aid the team in organizing their work to deliver on a joint objective. So you want to think about when you create a team, you're going to get a default general tab. Every team has a default general tab, and that's something that you can maybe use to share an overview of what the team wants to achieve, for instance. Maybe it's where you put information for people that are new to the team and things of that nature. That's going to be the default. It's always going to be at the top, and then every subsequent channel that you create is going to be in alphabetical order under that. You can have multiple channels in a team, and it allows you to organize conversations, files, and other information within a team. So let's look at those items. All right, so let's go ahead, and we talked about the chat feature. So the first thing that I said was the individual chat feature. So if you were to have individual conversations, this is where you would do that. But let's look at the team conversation. So if I click on Teams here, you can see that this is a team. You can see that these are the channels outside of my team, or I'm sorry, within my team. You can see that general tab that I was referring to. You can actually see that it's up here as well. So it's always going to be that first channel, and you're going to see channels that are subsequent underneath that general in alphabetical order. But these are the conversations that I was talking about. So these conversations that are happening are going on in this channel. So if I move to the general channel, you can see conversations here. That's going to be on the general channel. So something to note, or something that I mentioned, is when you have somebody new to the team, they're coming on board, you add them, they're able to scroll through and they can see everything, all the discussions that have happened previous to them joining the team. So again, a great way to get up to speed. So you can see here that these are the team conversations that have been going on. I can click here and you can see these conversations. And then if I wanted to reply to a particular conversation within the channel, I can just go into this conversation here. I can hit reply and I can reply here. And you're going to see that I have kind of those same features that I had with the IM. But one of the features to note here is this meet now. So let's say you're having a conversation in Teams back and forth. Maybe there's some confusion going on and you want to just go ahead and talk to everybody. You can actually click this Meet Now feature and it will create a team meeting where you can discuss things. And so if you wanted to reply to this conversation, you would just click here and so on. So you can see. I've actually created one here. I'll be going on vacation starting Friday, and I hit send, and right there, you're going to see that it's part of kind of that feed. So you can think of conversations as the feed that's going on of the activity within your group. So those are our team conversations. And then so we have our channels here. We have some different options with channels. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this channel, for instance. And what I want to show you within the channels is when you come over here, you can see that you have some different tabs going across the top. So we have our conversations for this channel. We have our files. So if I click on files, you're going to see the files that are related to this specific channel. But then you can add other things as well. So if I click here on this tab, you're going to see that I get these applications that are available to me to add to these channels. So this can be really helpful. Maybe you want to add an Excel spreadsheet that everyone can work on and they can easily access. You can do that very easily by choosing that, and it will add a tab to your channel with that information. And if I scroll through, you can see that there are a lot of different applications that you can choose from. So the idea is that you want your team to be working on this channel and you want to provide them all the information, all of the documents that they would need to work within the channel, within the team. So you can see here that, for instance, this one is a Word document, and it even gives you a preview of the Word document. So you can just continuously add tabs to this channel itself. So you can see how this can really help people collaborate without having to go out and, view other things in other places. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump back into our presentation. Lots of stuff to cover today. All right, so using team files. So we can create files, we can create and edit within the application. We can create folders, we can do Word documents, Excel, PowerPoint. We can upload files, we can drag and drop files, or we can use the upload feature if we want to get to our File Explorer and browse for a document. You can get links to documents, and you can open files in the library in SharePoint as well. So there are a lot of different ways that we can work with files within the team. All right, so let's look at that. So I did show you this Files tab here. So when we click on the Files tab, you can see that you're going to default, you're going to get your recent files, but I can also click on Microsoft Teams, and it's going to give me a list of the files that are uploaded onto Teams, and you can even see the location here. So that can be really helpful. Maybe you don't remember what channel you stored something on and you want to be able to access it. You can come here and look, and you also have access to OneDrive from here. Now, if we're working from a team and we want to look at certain files, we can come in here and we are in this business development team. We're in the opportunities channel and we have this files tab. So I'm going to go ahead and click there. And so you're going to see that this is very much like a SharePoint library, for instance, right? It looks very similar. You do have the option to open it in SharePoint if for whatever reason you wanted to do that. We can come here and we can upload a new document. So you can see you can do a new folder, you can do a new document. You can upload documents as well. You can get a link. And again, you can open in SharePoint as well. Just like in SharePoint, if I actually choose a document in my Files tab, you get some more options. So you can open it, you can get a link, you can download the document if you wanted to delete. So very similar to OneDrive or to SharePoint in how we work with our files. Again, Microsoft is always working to try to make things cohesive and consistent across the board. So you're not kind of having to learn a new way to manage your files. If you've worked in SharePoint or OneDrive, this is going to all look very familiar to you. So that's how we can work within files. And if I were to create a new file, let me uncheck that. And if I were to create a new file, all I have to do is click here, and you're going to see that it's going to ask me to name the document. I'll say create, and it's created the document for me right here. Very easy. If I were to open it up, I would be working on it in Word online. So that is something to keep in mind, that is where the document would open up. Something else I want to mention with files that I think is a really great feature is the fact that whenever in a conversation you add a file, so you can see this example right here that I created. It says, team, I need everyone's reports by Friday at 3 p.m. And then you can see that I did mention 3 different people, which means that they will be getting their notifications that I've posted this. You can see that I've uploaded a file here so that they can access it really quickly. Well, the nice thing about this is once I've uploaded a file here in my conversations, it's going to put it here under files as well. And you can see that it's here. So you don't have to remember to put it in one place and then put it in a different place. So that's how we can work with files. Let's jump back into our presentation. All right, and so meetings. Meetings is the last feature that I wanted to look at. So you can schedule a meeting right from Teams. You have some really rich features. You can see if invitees are available. You have the access to a scheduling assistant. You can make reoccurring meetings. Attendees can accept meetings directly from the Teams app. So we kind of saw that already. And you can even select a channel to meet in. And when you go into meetings, you get a snapshot of your day, and you can even change the view. So let's jump in and look at that. All right, so if I click on the meetings tab here, you get a snapshot of your day here in the middle, which is very helpful. And we can use this arrow to go through, and we can look at the other meetings that we have for the rest of the week. And then I talked about how you can change the view as well. So you can come in here and click on agenda view. And when you do that, you get kind of this more succinct look at your meeting. So you can see, today, tomorrow, Friday. So this can be really helpful. And what I like about this view is that you can actually join the meeting right from here. A lot of us might be familiar with that with Skype for Business, where we can go into the Skype app and we have that join button right there. So you have that ability. When you change it to the agenda view, you can join the meeting directly from Teams. Again, the idea is that you're able to do everything within the application. And then I just want to show you what it looks like when you schedule a meeting so you can see all of the rich features that are available. So we can come here to schedule a meeting, and you're going to get this window that's going to pop up, and you need to title your meeting. You can see that you get the same kind of options as you do as if you're in Outlook and you're scheduling a meeting. This right here is where you would click to make it a reoccurring meeting. So if you wanted to do that, you could click here. You can see that you have access to the scheduling assistant here, which is really helpful. So if you're looking for a time to meet that works for everybody, you can easily use the scheduling assistant to do that. So that's very nice. You can enter details of the meeting here, and you can see that you have some formatting options as well. And then to invite people, you would just come in here to invite someone, and I can type someone's name in. I can choose them. And one of the nice things is that you see their availability. That's that Skype for Business integration as you add them. And then to schedule the meeting, all I would have to do is click schedule a meeting, and it would send out that meeting invite. If you wanted to meet in a channel, you have that option here, and you can see that it gives you a list of the different teams, and you can expand those teams, and you can choose a channel. All right. So that is how we work with meetings within Teams. Let's jump back into our presentation. All right, so some things to consider. Naming convention. So there may be some type of governance policy within your organization on how to name your team. So that's something that you want to be aware of. And when you're naming channels, make sure that you're picking something that is easily identified. So if it's a specific project that you're working on, name it that project. You want people to be able to navigate through your team and understand the channels very easily. So just keep that in mind. Teams uses smart URL technology to remove spaces, so you want to keep that in mind as well. You can add additional tabs. We looked at that, so you can add OneNote, you can add Power BI, CRM, so many things, so that everyone has access to all of the collaboration tools all in one spot. And as a recap, Teams are a chat based workspace within Office 365. So you can chat back and forth, and it's keeping track of all of those conversations for you. The navigation is similar to Outlook and other Microsoft products, so it makes it easy to kind of learn the product if you're familiar with the other things. You can create or upload files, you can take notes, you can share conversations. It really is endless the amount of things that you can create in Teams so that you can collaborate with your coworkers. And then, really, that last thing is it's a great way to introduce new staff to what's going on. So, I highly suggest once you get into the habit of using Teams, you've created your team, you've created some channels and things of that nature, maybe think about the general channel as a way to introduce people to the team. And so, when new people come on board or when there's somebody that's new to the team, you direct them to that general tab. And maybe that's where you talk about the collaboration tools, the tabs that are available, how you want people to collaborate. You can use that general tab to do that. And new staff is going to be able to see all of the conversation history. So they're going to be able to get a really good feel for the types of conversations that are happening within the application, and how the team is communicating, right? One team may communicate one way, another team might communicate a different way. All right, well, Planet Technologies has a YouTube channel and it has samples of our tips and tricks sessions as well as other webcasts. Make sure you subscribe to our channel to get updates on new videos. Evolve 365 weekly tips and tricks webcast is available for all of our Evolve 365 customers. Our tips and tricks videos are slowly being added to your portal, so look for the tips and tricks subject under all products. Did you know that Evolve has over 100 videos on Microsoft Teams? And those are constantly being updated, so we'll definitely have more videos to come. I hope this overview on Microsoft Teams was informative and helpful for you. Thank you to everyone who joined today, and I hope to see you online next week.